there's a new ride-hailing service on the horizon, but it comes with a twist.
Straight out of Siberia, there comes another on-demand taxi application.
The coldest city in the world is located in Yakutia, -50, -60 at the winter.
I think this is probably one of the reasons why IT companies thrive here.
Dari Siberia ke Jakarta, inDrive bekerja keras untuk mendobrak monopoli aplikasi taksi.
Якутск бірден бастап капиталы 1 миллиард 230 миллион доллардан тұратын inDrive атты жаңа ғажайып мәңгілікке қалу үшін келді.
Tidak ada tarif tetap di inDrive. Inilah yang membuat inDrive berbeda dari para pesaing besarnya.
So in a way, we gave the passengers and drivers the freedom of choice.
Pengemudi memilih pesanan yang masuk dan penumpang memilih siapa pengemudinya. Arsen Tomsky, pendiri inDrive berkata, yang jadi penentu adalah manusia, bukan algoritma.
Because we care, we understand these people.
¿Quién se toma tiempo para ofertar por un viaje? Negociar el precio es más una estrategia de marketing.
inDrive is focused on addressing injustice in markets underserved by its competitors.
The second place in terms of installations in mobility after Uber and fourth place in travel ahead of Airbnb. How realistic is that?
inDrive is the second most downloaded ride-hailing app in the world.
The main strategic goal for us is to positively impact lives at least of 1 billion people by 2030. I was born in Yakutsk, the coldest city in the world. Despite the fact it has very harsh climate, my childhood impressions are full of sunny days or absolutely white winter days. I was born in a family of scientists. I used to read a lot of books. One day, all my classmates, they organized the funeral of me when I was outside of the school. It was very well organized that ceremony, and they didn't talk with me, and they didn't notice my existence for 2 weeks. It was okay for me because when they didn't speak with me, I didn't stutter. All people who stutter, they begin to stutter about 4 years old. The same for me. And since that time, I stutter all my life. But I am grateful for those challenges because they shaped me as a person, as an individual. It was a time of late USSR that large state was starting to collapse, and people stopped to believe in communism, socialism, and also it was time of growing criminality. Some days we didn't have opportunity to buy food. People was fighting for food in very long lines. It was a tough time for us.
I was born and raised in Yakutsk. I'm ethnically Sakha. Sakha culture is quite unique. Living in the most harsh condition in the world, it's very far away from everywhere. We are very family and community oriented. When you're living in this harsh condition, you can't survive alone.
When I was 7 or 8 years old, my parents, they made me a birthday gift. It was very simple toy car, but that toy car could be programmed. How to explain it? You could set up sequences of steps of actions, for example, go forward and then turn 45 degrees, shot 5 times and go backwards for half of meter and so on. And suddenly it ignited interest for me in programming. And I started to read about IT, about computers. When I was accepted to a physics math school, we had access to a computer class in local university. In the late 2000s, my main passion was the idea of creating a strong local IT industry.
I knew Arsene as the owner of YKT.ru. YKT.ru for Yakutsk is like Google. I'm sure that the first thing every person working in any office opened on a computer was YKT.ru.
YKT.ru was main independent media in Yakutia, and a long time it has been fighting with negative things like, for example, corruption. We helped a lot of people. I think we made a huge contribution to the development of local society, and we prepared a lot of tech specialists, tech professionals.
So we have a long, extended winter. It's dark in the morning, it's dark in the afternoon. At night, of course, it's dark too. I think this is probably one of the reasons why IT companies thrive here.
It was a really simple life, you know. We didn't have electricity even for the half of the day. We didn't have central heating across our village, so we had to do everything manually.
People are very hardy when they solve real-life issues and everyday problems. They are very fast.
It was very cold, like -50, waiting for your bus when it was very dark because it's getting dark at 3 or 2. Sometimes it took about half an hour or even longer, and hoping that the lights that are coming, that it's your bus that will take you home.
Yakutsk is a small city, and everyone knows everyone. There is some monopolies over there, and one of the monopolies was taxi services. They were different companies, but they know each other, and during the Christmas and New Year's rush hour, they raised overnight the prices. They double it.
Every year, taxi drivers raise their prices. This is like an annual inflation, but that year they raised it by 50 rubles. People, well, they didn't revolt, but it was very difficult for everyone.
All that story started in the day when taxi companies in Yakutsk decided to raise their fares in the same days, and it was cartel agreement, and it was injustice.
I just created a group for my friends so that they could save money on taxi rides and drive each other around for cheap and so on. Well, then it kind of got out of hand. I invited 50 friends to start. Then my friends invited their friends. Well, it grew from there.
Me, myself, joined this a few weeks after it launched because it was recommended by friends. They said, wow, this brilliant idea. You don't need to call for a taxi. You just go online and put your order, and then someone will write down the price and you negotiate over this. It's amazing. It's way cheaper. And just in few days, there were 1,000 people in this group who started helping each other. And it was like a community.
And I saw there was a very big potential in organic growth. When I saw that social phenomenon of independent drivers, which took off in short time, and more than 50,000 people in small Yakutsk joined to that group, and they started to actively use the service.
Arsene once contacted me through Vkontakte. He wrote me on Vkontakte and said, I'm such and such person and I'm interested in your project. Would you consider selling it?
Arsene locked himself down with the 3 software engineers. Don't disturb me, give me a time to develop this. In a few months, he developed the inDrive application. Our uniqueness is that we are basically a community, like a social network to connect people who need something to be done and the people who are like exchanging their time for the things that need to be done. And it can be everything.
I think the main difference is that all our activities are based on non-materialistic foundation. I'm going to touch on an important difference that is direct human interaction. I remember how in the early days when it was a social media group, one girl, she realized it in the night that she didn't have asthma spray and she called to 911 and they told her that they didn't have cars at that time, so she had to wait despite the urgency. And she called to taxis. They told her that they didn't provide such service. When she asked people in that social media group, one of the participants delivered that spray to her in a very short time and saved her life. This is a very good example how important but direct human interaction. Many people, when they know about us, they begin to use us actively, invite their social circle to use us too. Word of mouth was and is the main source of inDrive's new users.
Everyone started using it, and it was one of the first applications ever made by the Sakha Nation. And then he started to expand the business, hiring people, launched in few cities in Russia, and then the team launched in Kazakhstan. And in Kazakhstan, it became the overnight success. And we see this opportunity all around and decided to focus on the people like us who are coming from the very humble upbringings with the humble background, because we are these people. So we started focusing on developing countries, on the underserved communities, and this was the key of success because we care, we understand these people, and we see them, and they see us.
My name is Obadiah. I'm 15 years old. I live in Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos is a place where people can be happy, but some places are damaged. Surroundings sometimes is overwhelming. Bad guys usually cause chaos. For me, it's scary. I don't like fighting nor any trouble making. The electricity that is in our house, they cut it off, and we usually pay 4,000 and they increase it to 15,000, so we can't afford it to pay. I feel like I'm just in a world that there's nothing that can walk or move. I love drawing, and it's usually cartoons. I just needed to draw a superhero that there's someone that can help in this type of troubles that's happening in the world.
I believe that we come into this world to help each other. If you don't help, why do you exist? This is what motivates me. On Saturdays and Sundays, I go to the fire academy. Our workout routine is like hell. By the end, I'm dehydrated, I'm tired, but I still enjoy it a lot. My name is Lizeth Guadalupe Martinez Estrella. I'm 32 years old. I'm originally from Saltillo. I used to work as a policewoman. I used to get in my patrol car and think, we are going to help someone today. And this is what I like the most because I had the opportunity to genuinely help in this way. It's really hard to be a mom and a policewoman because of the shifts. My little boy, the youngest, started having problems. The doctor said it was a purely psychological problem. Clearly, as I was going through a divorce, I felt some guilt because the problem was because of me and his dad. It was like I was causing him harm, and that hurts. Yes, it does.
My name is Itam. I live close to Bogor. In junior high, there were often hair inspections, and my friends got scolded. I told them to cut their hair with me. When I cut someone's gray hair, sometimes it makes me sad. It reminds me of my dad. My father passed away when I was in junior high. When I was learning to cut hair, my dad used to be my experiment. He had a lot of gray hair.
Yes, climb the tree.
Just take the limus fruit, okay?
Yes.
That's far enough.
She wants to go to the cinema. If her father doesn't allow it, she won't go.
Do you guys go to the cinema often?
But she's never been to a cinema before, but she wants to. But her father doesn't allow it.
So you guys never watch movies together?
No, never.
Back then I had a full-time job. When the COVID pandemic hit, I was laid off. My daughter was sick at the time. When she got sick, I was freaking out about how I would get the money for her treatments. My only option was to borrow money from my brother and take my daughter to the clinic.
One thing that is very common for so many people all around the world from developing countries, they want to have a better life. They want to have like a little bit more comfort, little bit more convenience, little bit more time for themselves. Arsen himself, me, some other people go all over the world interviewing people, understanding local ride-hailing markets to try to figure out which going to be the next big market for us. After the thousands of interviews, we launched first in Latin America, in Saltillo.
When we were launching Latin America and other countries, I didn't even understand how to buy tickets to countries that so far away. When we entered the city, we didn't even know how to look for the office. You know, like what should we Google? How we're going to rent an apartment.
So I reached out and put the message, is there any person who speaks Russian? And this in one city in Saltillo was a person who learned in university in Russia, and he goes, oh yeah, come to visit Saltillo, I will help you. I'm like, I will pay something. I said, no, I just want to practice my Russian. And after I realized this is the city.
I quit the police because I was tired of it. I felt I needed to be with my sons, so I had to look for a job or income that would pay enough to support a house and 2 children, but would not take up so much of my time that I couldn't be with my kids. I first heard about inDrive from my sister. She told me, well, you worked for the police and you were on patrol. You know a lot and you know how to drive, so go for it. And I said, well, it sounds good. My profile was verified, and in about a day or so, I was authorized to start working.
My daughter was sick, and I was freaking out. Then a friend suggested to me, try signing up to inDrive. It's a new online ride-hailing app, and it's very easy to use. Just try to sign up. After registration, my account was immediately activated. Then I topped up my balance and I was able to start working right away.
Model is basically that it's a fair price that a passenger and the driver can agree on. I think it's a very powerful concept because across the world, people get used to having less and less control over the pricing of the ride hail, of the taxis. So basically, we gave the passengers and drivers the freedom of choice. Passenger can choose whatever driver he or she wants, whatever car he or she wants. If he or she wants to pay less but wait a little bit more, he can really kind of choose that.
In other ride-hailing services in peak time, we can give you 2 or 4 times more expensive price, and nobody knows why. For example, 2 times more expensive, by why not 1.5 times? Those companies want to make more money, so it's very easy to understand that there is a probability of price manipulations. In inDrive, it is impossible, because people set all terms of their rights, and you can propose your price if you are a passenger. And second part, drivers, they can decide if it is interesting for them or not, or if they think it's too cheap, they can propose their price.
And for the drivers, first of all, it's one of the lowest commissions on the markets, which is a real help in our countries that we operate. And second, it's the earning that a driver makes doesn't correspond to how much time he or she works. So basically, he doesn't need to really kind of overwork, and he or she can freely set up their own timings and be really kind of flexible in how much they work, how much they earn.
Drivers in override-hailing services often just see a point A, where they have to pick up a passenger. They don't see point B, and they don't see a price. Even if in some places they see point B, they can't decline. If they decline, the system can ban them. Those companies are trying to make from drivers something like semi-robots. We provide fairness and freedom of choice. We make them small entrepreneurs.
I noticed that the number of female drivers at inDrive increased a lot this year. If there are women, it means it's safe. Therefore, more women have begun to sign up. There are many of them who started alone, just like me, which is why I created a group where a woman can contact other women drivers if she needs help, and either myself or any of the members will help them. There are now 20 female drivers in this group.
The power of the community, one of the main things of our application is all about the community, about the family and friends, and they so care about their relatives, their close ones. So when they discover something they like it, they share it immediately. So it's like in some cities it was like an overnight success because wow, it worked, I like it, and started sharing it with their family. They become our agents.
We saw that the passengers are very happy, drivers are very happy. Our numbers were growing on a weekly basis. So after a few weeks, we saw success, right? And we celebrated, but it was very short because we had to move to other countries and other cities. After 1 year, we had whole Latin America.
We operating in such amazing cities as São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Mexico City, New Delhi, Calicut, Mumbai, Jakarta. But not only the big cities, but in small towns and even villages. For example, Arusha, the small town in Tanzania, smaller town South Africa where they even don't have the proper name, it's just a suburb around Johannesburg, for example. Or in the small villages in Kazakhstan. And we even operate in the city called Uberlandia. It is in the south of Brazil, in the islands in Caribbean, Bangkok, in Phuket Island, in Kuala Lumpur, all around the world. It's such an exciting for me.
So we want to show how to build large and financially successful businesses on non-materialistic and positive impact foundation. This is our way how we are going to reinvent capitalism.
We are a discounter. We charge smaller commission to our drivers than other companies. That limits in some way our financial resources. But on the other hand, our business model is like a magnet.
We've focused on developing markets, and mobility is incredible. Imagine if you couldn't move from where you are to see your parents, your family, your friends. Imagine if you are having challenges getting to work, or if there was a place where, if you could get to, you could earn some more money. So by bringing these mobility options to all of these developing markets, that's the first stage in challenging injustice. What makes the company revolutionary is Arsen's vision and commitment to this reinventing capitalism. whatever meeting we're in, whatever discussion we're in, he's having newer, bigger, better ideas.
Do you remember the scene from movie Fight Club, where they were standing in front of a burned car and discussing that one of the major car makers had a serious defect? That defect led to fatal road incidents. That company calculated that if they pay to families of people who died, it's more financially effective than to return all defective cars and change it, fix it. And this is what we are going to fight, what we are going to change.
The revenue is important and the money that you're making is important, but this is not a goal. This is just a result that we are doing something that people like. Our goal as a company is to make the world a better place.
In inDrive, we have also several businesses, which is like intercity, couriers, cargo. People use it to deliver stuff. They use it to visit their families, which is like very spread it across the country.
It is a company that is focused on experiments, trying things that other people may not have tried, trying things that other people may have tried and failed. So it doesn't stop us from doing it our way.
When you are building the company on some non-materialistic idea, you can think that this approach could be problematic in terms of relationship with potential investors. But if you, in the same time, we are using such non-materialistic foundation, achieving very good financial results, it changes the situation.
We was in the Silicon Valley, the San Francisco, and go for a meeting with the investors. It was very important for us. We was like prepping with Arsen. This is like a beautiful mansion, and this legends of the venture investment world from the Silicon Valley. They're sitting there, and just Arsen casually walks in, takes the best spot in the room, and everyone's like, okay. And he started like talking with them with this power and the belief in this, and everyone was captivated in the room. And then take the toy that he was saying that it's called Nevalyashka, the symbol of our resilience. Talked about our resilience, how our business is very effective and so on. Then he put it on the table, and everyone was like, what is that? Why there's some random Saha guy in the room pulling some toys during the investment from the hundreds of millions of dollars? And after this meeting ends, one of our investors, the person, she asked can I keep the toy? Because she was so impressed. And after they just said, okay, we are in.
You can find very good investors who are interested in both growing their funds as investors and also in positive change in the world. I believe that new generations, including investors, they are much more conscious people. They are much more interested in social equality, in saving environment, in social justice.
Something beautiful was happening there because it was a glimpse of future. It's like sometimes happens with Arsen. When you talk with him and we're very passionate about this is like a rift through the space and time, and you're living there with him.
When Arsen came to us and told that we'll launch in New York, deep inside I didn't believe we can start this huge city with millions and millions of people from a small town in the heart of Siberia. Everything is possible.
if you make it in New York, you can make it everywhere. So it was like driving us, and we worked hard to do this, and we was very successful in this because of the monopoly of the companies like Uber and Lyft. They have very high commission there for the drivers, and the drivers have no choice.
I remember the first day when I arrived to New York, driving from JFK to Manhattan. I did not believe that I was actually there.
Going to the IKEA to buy the furniture, we assembled the furniture by ourselves, and that was quite fun. And we set up the office and start hiring the drivers. We were sitting in the Rockefeller Center with all the beautiful views and everything. I'm so excited about that. And we launched, and we have so many rides, and we was growing.
I remember that huge Cadillac that was called by your application. Having a ride in Manhattan, very motivating experience for me. Me and Nadia, we had a ride in an intercity bus. During that ride, I had a call from Arsen, and he said that, Tanya, something's happening. We are having a lot of fraud events happening within the application.
And we're losing money every day because they basically hacked our application and was using like a stolen card for rides. Just few months later, we shut it down like abruptly overnight. Such a fail. But it was very important lesson for us. So we stepped back and worked hard to have better processes, better product, better expertise to launch in developed countries.
The launch in New York gave us a lot of experience, even though we didn't establish a foothold there. In general, that is something that is very interesting about the company. Arsen says that you should draw conclusions from mistakes and avoid making them in the future.
When the war started, the company lost its homeland. Of course, it was a big shock for us, very big pain.
For a couple of hours, I was stunned and can't think because it was too big to comprehend. And then, as an operational officer, I need to act. We need to save our employees from a situation happening, starting with our employees in Ukraine.
We had to relocate about 1,000 people from Russia to other countries. All of them had families, had social ties, had plans, and so on. And in a very short time, they lost it. It was very, very hard for people.
When the military operation was announced, my first thought was that my children no longer have a future. Because when you don't have a choice, you don't have a future. There should always be a choice. Good, bad, various choices, but you must have the right to choose as a free person. inDrive organized the relocation of its employees and their families. They transferred such a large number of people in such a short time. They organized everything and helped them. We're still receiving support for rent, for our children's school. This made the whole relocation process much easier. But this still remains my clear decision about where I want to be now and where I don't want to be. I know that for sure, and I do all that I can so that my children have a choice eventually. Have never faced hatred here because I'm from Yakutia. When my husband showed me the apartment in a video call, we talked in Yakutian. The landlady said, "How cool, it sounds really interesting, it sounds similar to our language."
The first place that Arsene went to was actually about people and the impact on people, which is the reason why he was so much wanting and supporting relocations. It's people that make the business. The application is written by people. The work that's done in the countries is done by people. The strategies are put together by people.
We reimagined the company's vision and mission. We began many of new businesses and non-profit initiatives. This new super mission of challenging injustice creates very, very strong foundation for the company for many years ahead.
It's very important to feel united behind the big vision, which is meaningful for everyone. It's very important also to act on it, right? And this is something that we are responsible in marketing to make sure it becomes real life.
We called it InVision. This is the important part of the company. We are running 10 of non-profit initiatives, and they are becoming bigger and bigger and more global.
START Team is a program for school students from developing countries to become a new type of leaders through education.
So I was studying civic in the class while Mr. Victor came to our school. An organization called Beginning It inDrive came to teach some students how to code games. They might pick 15 people.
We launched Begin IT, a non-profit initiative in 2013, and the main idea was that we teach kids in remote rural schools and orphanages with basics of IT, to motivate them to choose building careers in tech field. I decided to do it because I remember how I got that first impulse to go to IT when I received that toy car from my parents. I know that sometimes just a small push is enough to change all your life. In the last 10 years, we worked with more than 120 schools and orphanages in more than 13 countries.
Coding is usually fun for me. I learn about creating games, creating websites. No, it's not only coding they teach us. They usually teach us little about ScorelDraw, how to draw inside the computer too.
It's incredible when you look at how it touches students' lives, gives them opportunities they may never thought that they had, and gives them skills and confidence in a completely different way. And to think the next project that's coming online will be the opening of our university in Kazakhstan, free for anyone to use, giving them a completely different life opportunity.
We are going to a new stage of Begin IT. Now we are going to call it Begin It, and we will look for kids who have their leadership potential and who is naturally aiming to give, not just take.
Frankly, I adore them, as I call them, my children from STAR Team. They are amazing, and when you talk to them, you can feel this burst of energy, this feeling you get when you are only 16 to 17 years old, when your life is ahead of you and the world is at your feet. This is what I feel, this pleasant energy.
Imagine 1, 2, 3 of them. Imagine we help them to be a leader in their country, a leader in their region, a leader in their world. This again changes the lives of tens to hundreds of millions of people.
So if we find a good way to do it, we can prepare a lot of such influential leaders. I believe in education.
It's about helping build communities that can help themselves, that can grow, to support startups, to support scale-ups in places in the world where these things never were before. And we know what it takes to do that, and we can help catalyze it
set it up, set a little spark that turns into a flame, that turns into a fire of opportunity in those local areas.
We don't call it charity or social activity. This is one form of fulfillment of inDrive's mission. This approach gives us a lot of internal strength, internal motivation, the inner drive, inDrive.
The majority of people who come to my barbershop are students. If you want to come here to get a haircut, just come if I'm at home. No need to think about whether you have money or not. Which style is it?
That one.
It's for those who don't have parents, the orphans. If you have long hair, you don't have to think about money. Just come. I'll give you a haircut. I will. I will definitely help you look great, instead of being scolded by a teacher at school. If you don't have parents, especially those who have lost a father, I have also experienced this hardship, and I know how it feels when you lose a father.
I always work at night, on a regular basis, because the girls who go out to drink also need to return home safely, without being harassed, without being disturbed. Even if they are drunk, they need to know that they will return home safe, and this is a very important reason for me to work at night. I've started a project, and drivers from the group have joined in. If you've been harassed or abused or don't have any money, we will drive you home at no charge. And I want to help. I want to help them. Motherhood goes along well with inDrive. I like that I am free and that I can take care of my children. And if I need money, I go out to work, get the money, and come back home. But I believe even if I get another job, I'll continue to work with inDrive, and I'm going to make it.
Many people have bring out new things with technology. So me too, I want to bring out more new things so that people can use and make their things easier. My biggest dream is to become crime detector. I want to help fight cybercrime. I just feel like to make everywhere peaceful around me. I want to help people that are oppressed all over the world.
Usually the cinema begins at 4 p.m. Then you pick her up first and drop her off.
Won't it be late?
No, it's okay. Usually people go to the movies in the afternoon. We can go in the evening, right? Yes, after evening prayer is okay. There's one around 6:30 p.m.
It's fun then. Let's go!
Наран харды чумкутук, сикки тылды семейдик. Тыгар күннү сыластык, үсүрак биттен, истимник албы туруолум. Ал оппутун, иядөйді бутун, аяттарбыт, араңачылы турдунар. Жаллах булуом.
We fed the fire. Now we have to feed the land.
Сейчас надо покормить землю.
We usually give 3 oladushki pancakes to the land. And that's it. We did all of our rituals.
I'm absolutely sure that we live in the world that can't be explained just with scientific laws. And I met a few cases in my life where I saw it. When I was 6, it was sunny. I don't remember how I got to that place without anybody with me. That meadow was dotted with bushes and trees, and something small started to fall on me, touched my head. It burst in form of fine dust, and I heard a choir of voices which was using very strange way of singing. Many years later I realized it was throat singing, and I was scared. I got to my home. I told my mother this story, but she didn't get it because I was just 6 years old and it was very tough to explain what happened. And I had a few such stories in my life, and I know we live in much more complicated universe.
I was a happy kid, but it was like at times when we don't have any food at home. Sometimes we don't have electricity for like days in the middle of the winter. This gives me ability to understand these people all around the world better.
Because we're from a small town and always thought that they must be more professional and experienced somewhere else. And we are simple guys from villages. I myself am from a village and lived my whole life in a village. So it's cool that it turned out to be possible.
I think that the most important lesson that I have learned from Arsen is the fact, the idea that nothing is impossible. It's about going over obstacles, over challenges, and growing and becoming even stronger, developing yourself and becoming even stronger each time.
We should focus not on goals. We should focus on path, on journey. And if you do something important for you, very meaningful for you, and you develop external environment during that journey, you are getting more and more with each step. And that is something which nobody could take from you. Even if you don't reach a peak, you will have something available for you. And this setup will give you more confidence. And what is very interesting, you will reach a peak with high probability. All inDrive's success is built on the amazing team, very great motivation and talents. I'd like to thank all the team for their belief in our mission, commitment, and being with me all these years. Thank you.